Welcome to Landria Anka on YouTube. Here to give you the tools and the guidance. Welcome to Landria Anka on YouTube. Here to help you break through those fears and go after an absolutely beautiful, awesome life that awaits you at every moment. Everything that has ever happened, or ever can happen, or ever will happen, and is happening now, is all just happening. There's no timeline. There's no linear timeline. We're not going to go into that because it's just too mind-blowing for our feeble little human brains to comprehend. But when you open up to the One and you go into that very awakened place, all of it totally makes sense. And you no longer have to have answers to anything. Do you always have to have answers to things? Have you ever noticed that? Let me just share with you what that is. When we sit and we debate, when we have to always know everything, when we have to have answers to everything, I'm not talking about, going after knowledge and learning. When we always have to have an answer for everything, that is, I'm sorry to say, that is the ego. Now, as you know, I do not think the ego is a bad thing. I think there's a lot of teaching out there that looks at the ego as something negative, to be avoided, to sort of battle. And I don't think it is. I think it is part of the past collective consciousness that was not vibrating at a high frequency. Is he going to be stealing my scene here? This is Baby Coo with a stray cat that hangs out with me. That's okay. Scene stealer, go for it. He's primping. So, what happens with the ego, in my opinion, is it is just a learned energy. It's a part of an energy because it's not your brain and it's not your body. It's not really your spiritual essence, so to speak. It is part of your energy. All right, which is all one thing, but everything can play its role. It can come to the forefront. Your spirituality can come to the forefront of the ego, for instance. The material world, you could place that first before your spiritual connection. So we can pick and choose where we focus our energy that creates whatever we want. Okay, I've got a hair here, sorry. So the ego to me is this collective consciousness and your own learning history from other past lives. If you're not into that, that's cool. It's still a part of this lifetime. And so whatever you've learned, been told, created, it becomes a very dense kind of energy that just collects information, feelings, and tries to protect you. So the ego, what it's doing is saying, okay, there's somebody who was like that before that used to beat you up. Or those, I hear this a lot, wealthy people are greedy. So that's that all conditioning that you don't even hear yourself saying half the time. It's this belief system, it's part of the ego, what it's learned, and it's part of a protection system to say, I'm not responsible for this, or it's okay for me to be broke because if I'm rich, then that means I'll be part of the evil people or whatever. So it's actually creating your own, it's creating your own reality based on protection. Protection, and it's definitely ego-driven, right? All this ego-driven protection system is saying it's okay to stay where you are, saying it's okay to not be responsible, all these other things. It's a very superficial energy. It doesn't go into, meaning or love or anything else. It's just a protection system because that's how we function for years and years and years. And then, of course, our consciousness is starting to raise and it's coming to the forefront. And that ego no longer serves us. In fact, we don't need it at all for anything. When you connect to your higher self and you know what you are, and we say, I don't even like higher self because, everything's you anyways. But when you connect to that higher frequency, when you raise your frequency within the one that is everything, and we all start raising it, we no longer need that. We don't need to have beliefs or protection systems. You have a knowing that goes way beyond that. And it's tough to comprehend that when you're connected to that ego that you think is making good decisions. All right? So I know it's tough. I know it's tough. But so I guess the question is, are you looking to the outside world to create your joy? Are you looking to everything outside of you to create your joys? Now, the reason why people go into these situations where they're unhappy is because that ego needs things. It needs to be fueled. It thinks that things have to be a certain way. And you will always be disappointed if you're listening to ego. Always. So when you hear yourself needing something or wanting something from the outside world, it is the ego trying to protect you, saying that those things will make you okay. It's not functioning on a higher frequency. When you start listening to that voice, that ego, that protection system, instead of saying it also will pelt you with the worst possible things that it learned from other people, and that is, you're not smart enough, you're not good looking enough, you're never going to be successful and whatever. And so it creates the stories that protect you from having to go be successful, because again, it tells you all these stories. It is really doing its job. I go, okay, that worked. Now we're done with that. We are done with the ego. We don't need it at all. So whenever you find yourself creating some story, or you're looking for something outside of yourself, and you are looking for a solution, you have to have the answer to something. It's probably, now not all the time, but I'm just saying, when you're looking for an answer to something because you think that answer is going to solve some problem for you, that is the ego talking. Because you have all the answers, and that other person, that job, that solution, that answer, or you have to know something, won't really change anything. So when you're seeking information, especially when you're trying to raise your frequency, and you really want some answers to things that will open up gateways. Maybe you connect to certain things. I'm not talking about those kinds of answers. I'm talking about, I'm unhappy and I need to know certain things, and once I have that information, then I'll be okay. That is still the ego seeking something outside of self. And that can apply to spirituality too, because it's like, okay, if I get this kind of teaching, that's it. That's the solution. That's the answer. That now I can be enlightened. No. That probably won't last very long, because you're still dealing with the fact that you think that thing is going to make you happy, or that, that solution, that answer, it's the answer to everything, and that you just want it. You are evolving. You are evolving. You don't have to know everything. So I get a lot of people, they're like, they look to me for mentoring because they want an answer, because they don't think they have it themselves. They think that there's some solution out there. Now, I get it. I am totally on board for especially spiritual mentoring, and I am putting a program in place to do that, to help. I'm giving people the tools to do it themselves. But most of the people coming to me want me to solve their problems for them. And the real journey, the real way to joy, is to find that solution yourself using the tools that you need from other people, because we're all here to help each other. So it's like, and I refer to this a lot because this is such a really ground-breaking, learning curve for me, is dealing with the situations within the internet marketing. People will come into the internet marketing training because they want it to make them happy. They want it to solve the money problems. They want it to solve the freedom problems. It is a tool to get there, but they still have to complete the journey. They still have to do the work. They still have to put the effort in and use their mindset and determination, because none of us, none of the trainers, none of the mentors can do that for them. It's still using the tools, and life is no different. There are tools and teachers and everything out there for you, but you still have the answers, and you still have to put that work in. Because you do have all those solutions, and you don't have to have the answers to everything. When you go within yourself and you start to go in an awakened state, that ego will stop talking, because it doesn't need to have answers. It doesn't have to analyze everything anymore, because you're so connected to the answers to everything. And you don't even need to have those answers. It's like, I go into this space sometimes where it's like, I don't have to know what God is, the one. I don't have to know. I can't answer any of those questions, how it is, how it came to be, why, what. It doesn't matter, because when you're in a space of total connection, it doesn't matter anymore. You don't need those answers because you're in total bliss. Why would you need any answers to any questions? Now, as human beings, it's fun to explore things. It's fun to ask questions, and that I love that. Explore, educate, get knowledgeable. It's when you seek those answers as solutions to make you happy versus a part of your growth while you're already on that pathway to joy. So the reason I bring this up is because the ego is always looking for the next thing. It's always looking for the next solution. And it happens over and over and over. This is Groundhog Day. We want the solution. We want an answer. Then we go, that's it. As if there's one solution to everything. And then we say, oh, when we get more challenges, this isn't what I expected. I thought life was going to be wonderful all the time again. Well, when you're in an awakened state, it is. And so when you go into those things, you don't look at them, those challenges, or that job or that relationship or whatever you thought that was going to make everything great. You're okay with it because you're in an awakened state. You're already in joy. And so that thing is not what you look to bring your joy. So those solutions become irrelevant. You don't have to have the answers to everything, because life is evolving constantly. So if you're sitting there trying to figure stuff out, I have to have the answer solution, as if there's one. There's multiple probabilities for you. Billions, endless probabilities for you at every split second, because everything is out there operating at the exact same moment. Not even that doesn't even describe it, because there is no moment. So you can pick and choose that, and you don't have to sit and analyze, have an answer and say, that's the one probability that's going to make me happy. There's trillions of them. All you have to do is know what you want. Have that intention. Envision yourself. You don't have to know how you're going to get there, but answers will come along the way. They will present themselves to you. And then seek and ye shall find, right? Seek isn't always, having to have the answers to everything. It's seeking the things that you want, being open, and those answers will come to you. So, have your intention for joy, for all the wonderful things that you want in life. Know what you want. Envision yourself. It's so powerful to do that. Feel it, smell it, touch it, hear it, know that, and live your life in joy as though that is already here in this linear time. Don't have to always have the answers to everything. Know that it is done. Don't have to sit and analyze everything. Don't battle your ego that's always looking for an answer, that always has to look for the thing to make it happy. Just let it gab. Don't fight it. Just say you served your purpose, but now I'm connecting something more powerful, higher, that can manifest in a split second faster. It's already done. It doesn't happen. It is already happening. And you're just connecting to that. So When you go into that space, you're joyful. There are sort of really no questions anymore. And yes, of course I welcome your comments and questions. Of course I welcome them. Because I know you're seeking the kind of answers that will give you the tools to open up gateways. And that's all positive. But when you're looking outside of yourself for an answer, for an ultimate answer to make you happy, I'll give you the one ultimate answer. Reconnect. Drop the veils, reconnect to that which you are, the one. That is the ultimate answer. That's all you need to do. Everything else comes with that. All of it. Not, we're always going after the house or the relationship or the job or the money. And we keep doing that and doing that. What's the answer? What's that job? How do I do this? How do I do that? How are you going to help me? And how analyzing the relationship, why it didn't work, why it's not working. Let it go. It is what it is. Let it go. Be free. You will be so free. And then the ego shuts up. And you say, you know what? I don't need to have all the answers. I just know that all of a sudden things are coming to me. I'm going to take action on them. The phone call comes and you get the job. The person that you envision, you run into them at the grocery store. It all just starts to happen for you because you stopped trying to control it. You stopped always having to have the answers and you opened yourself up to that which you are, and it has no limits. The only reason you're feeling limits right now is because you're not connecting to that. You're connecting to this material world that has to have everything out there making it happy, that ego. So blessed, it's an energy, it's part of your makeup, it's part of what we've been evolving from and out of. And you will at some point, move away from it. It's going to be back here in the background. And you're going to be up here in the bigger cosmos with answers and a knowing that I can't even begin to explain to you. I call it the knowing. You just know. You don't even have to speak words anymore. And things will show up. So, you find yourself just always sitting there thinking, that's your ego, bless it. And say, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just connect to that which I am. I'm going to envision and have my intention of that life I do want to live. That life of wealth and abundance is all good. It's all good because you're coming from a positive intention of really wanting joy, really wanting a beautiful world, and having all those things. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to call rich people evil and greedy to convince yourself why it's okay for you to be broke. When you let that go and you bless them and you go, that's awesome. That must be beautiful, awesome to just not struggle with money at all. They have their own struggles. People that, that you may envy, that, whatever their things that you think is so great, they have their own struggles in other areas where you have none. This is all a shared experience. So, bless them, and then all of a sudden, you'll be shocked at what starts to come to you because that is not something which you oppose. The ego, you stop fighting it and opposing it. You just make different choices. You just choose to take control on a spiritual connection versus a mind that's chattering all the time. And that's where meditation comes in. So, you can reconnect to the knowing. You can bring anything into your reality. Anything. Because you wield that power. Raise your frequency. That's what we came here for. And to experience this beautiful abundance that's available to all of us. It's time for the transition. You are here for a reason. You're in it. You're doing it. Know that. Be okay with that. And know that all the challenges and things, they still have a presence here. They're going to start to fall away. Just don't give them focus. Don't focus on them. Don't always have to analyze and know everything. You are whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Thank you for all the blessings you are sending, my friend. All the miracles, all of the positive intentions. Thank you for bringing all of the beautiful, positive experiences into their life right now. The abundance, the prosperity, the health, the wealth, the joy, and the sharing of all of that, because we are one. Namaste.